Imagine an AI that doesn't just write code for you, but actually invents completely new scientific methods. Methods that, outperform human experts. Not just by a little bit, but like significantly.
Yeah, and it does it in hours instead of months.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild to think about that speed.
Right.
Pretty wild acceleration, right?
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at a whole stack of, frankly, fascinating insights into this accelerating world of AI. Our mission, like always, is to try and unpack how these systems aren't just helping us anymore, but actively redefining what's even possible in research, communication, creative stuff.
That's right. So first up, we're going to dive into how Google's AI is now, well, out-researching actual researchers. It's quite something. Then we'll zip through a bunch of rapid-fire updates, everything from AI making films to new ways to sort out your digital life. And finally, we'll look at a potential game changer in speech recognition. Could totally reshape how we talk to machines. It's a lot to cover, so let's just jump right in.
Okay, so this first big story, it really feels like it pushes the boundaries of what we thought AI could do. We're looking at this Google system, and it's not just writing essays or fixing code, it's actively inventing scientific methods. Feels like a big leap, Moving AI from just an assistant into genuine discovery.
It absolutely does. And what's really fascinating is how it works, the mechanics of it. You basically feed it a very specific problem.
Right.
It needs a clear goal, some data to work with, and this is key, a way to score itself. An evaluation metric. Once it has that, the system starts generating initial ideas. Then it writes code based on those ideas.
Yeah, it's not just a one-shot deal, right? It keeps refining.
Not at all. It tests thousands, literally thousands of variations of that code. It uses something called a tree search loop, which is, think of it like a really sophisticated trial and error process. It systematically explores tons of possible solutions, branching out, trying different paths, always aiming for the best one. This whole approach, by the way, it's inspired by AlphaZero, the AI that mastered Go and chess. So the system keeps rewriting its code, constantly trying to improve those scores, and it only keeps the very best solutions as it goes along.
Okay, and this is where the results get well, you called it wild earlier.
Yeah.
Pretty staggering stuff. The system didn't just match human performance, it blew past it in several areas, like genomics. It generated 40 new methods for RNA-seq integration, and the best one, 14% better than the top tool made by human experts. That's a serious jump.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just one field. For COVID-19 forecasting, it came up with 14 new models. And those models outperform the CDC's own gold standard system, the COVID Hub Ensemble. That's directly relevant to public health planning.
Right, and neuroscience, too, predicting neuron activity in zebrafish.
Yeah, 70,000 neurons. More accurately than any of the baseline models they compared it to.
Wow. And math. It solved hard integrals.
Solved 17 out of 19 tough integrals where the standard methods just failed. Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And for time series data, it basically built its own forecasting library from scratch, testing it across 28 different data sets.
The sheer breadth of that is.
Wow.
It really is.
Whoa. Just imagine scaling that kind of exploration to, I don't know, 1 billion queries across every single scientific field. The amount of new knowledge just pouring out, it would be genuinely transformative.
And that's why it matters so much. It signals this fundamental shift, right? Most coding AIs we talk about, they focus on getting the syntax right, making sure the code runs without errors. But this Google system, it's different. It's idea generating, and it's performance maximizing. It's not just following orders. It's actively finding new, better ways to do things. And it never gets tired. It never stops exploring. That kind of relentless search, it pushes entire fields forward at, warp speed. So thinking of the immediate future, what's the biggest single impact this could have on scientific discovery, like right now?
Yeah, it just shortens those discovery cycles like crazy, accelerates breakthroughs.
Okay, all right. Let's pivot a bit from that really deep foundational research to just the sheer whirlwind of daily AI stuff happening. It feels like there's so much going on, it's almost impossible to keep up. What's caught your eye recently? What feels like a sign of where things are headed?
It really is a whirlwind, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's maybe hit some rapid-fire highlights just to show the range. NotebookLM, for instance, that's really leveled up. Users can now auto-generate custom reports, full blog posts, flashcards, quizzes, even video summaries. And it works in over 80 languages. So it's not just organizing info anymore. It's actively, synthesizing it into new things for you.
That sounds incredibly useful, especially if you're drowning in information. And on the creative side, OpenAI is getting into movies.
Yeah, they are. They're backing a film called Critterz. It's supposed to be an entirely AI-generated animated movie. Slated for Cannes in 2026, apparently, yeah. They even showed a short video bit back in 2023, so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're showing early signs of AI storytelling on a bigger scale.
And talking about creating content, Claude's making some practical moves too, right? And like office tools.
Totally. Claude can now create and edit PDFs, slide decks, reports with actual visual charts. Right inside the chat, you can just feed it raw data, maybe from a spreadsheet, and it pulls together a whole write-up. That's a huge time saver for anyone doing business reports or presentations. It really feels like AI becoming a direct co-pilot for, office work.
Very practical. And then for the younger crowd, Google and Stanford launched AI Quests.
Right. It's a game series for middle schoolers. Kids get to role play as Google researchers. It's kind of edutainment for the AI age, right? Making tricky AI concepts interactive, fun, maybe inspires the next generation.
Clever way to introduce those ideas early. And on a later note, apparently you shouldn't call ChatGPT dumb anymore.
Slight chuckle. Yeah, seems like you'll get roasted. Not by the AI, but by other humans defending it. Someone actually asked if that makes them a bad person for criticizing it. Kind of highlights the weirdly social, almost emotional connection people are forming with these tools.
That's a funny little community quirk. Shows how embedded they're becoming. But back to content.
Yeah.
There's this company, Inception Point, making waves or maybe causing a bit of a stir.
Definitely causing a stir. Their plan: produce 5,000 AI-generated podcasts per week with 3,000 new episodes weekly. And get this, for just $1 per episode. So yeah, critics are, pretty understandably, screaming soulless content at that kind of volume. Raises huge questions about authenticity, market saturation, the future of stuff made by actual people.
It certainly does. And on the business end, some really eye-popping fundraising numbers are coming out. Shows massive investor confidence.
Oh, absolutely. Cognition AI, for example. They just raised, $400 million? Reaches a $10.2 billion valuation in just 18 months. And their tool, Devin, its annual recurring revenue jumped from $1 million to $73 million. They've got clients like Goldman Sachs, Cisco already using it. That kind of growth.
Yeah.
It's just astronomical. Shows the huge demand for these specialized AI tools.
Okay, so with all this happening just incredibly fast, what's maybe one key challenge these rapid advances are creating that we really need to watch?
Yeah, I'd say maintaining content authenticity.
Yeah.
Especially with that AI-generated volume exploding.
Gotcha. Okay, let's keep this pace. Let's do some AI quick hits, just a quick rundown of smaller but still important announcements that maybe show subtle shifts. Microsoft Azure, OpenAI, they're offering new conversational AI shopping experiences now.
Yeah.
It could genuinely change how we interact with online stores, making shopping assistants feel more personal, maybe more proactive.
That's a big step for customer service. Yeah. And definitely a sign of AI getting deeper into everyday commerce.
And also Microsoft, they announced they'll be using Claude Sonnet 4. That's a pretty big shift from relying so heavily on OpenAI's GPT models.
Yeah.
Tells you a lot about the competitive scene, right? And how companies are diversifying, looking for the best AI for specific jobs, not just one size fits all.
Indeed. Yeah. Feels like a strategic move, leveraging different AI strengths. Meanwhile, Apple, they're quietly working on something called World Knowledge Answers. Sounds like a potential ChatGPT rival. Always interesting to see what Apple's cooking up in the background with their resources.
Very true. It really highlights how every major tech player is scrambling to build their own powerful conversational AI. And kind of an interesting side note, within the AI research community itself, apparently researchers often highlight well-cited papers and certain big names. It's a bit of a human thing, right? Recognizing who influenced what, even in this super automated field. A little nod to the foundational work. Bit of academic. Self-reinforcement, maybe. And speaking of Apple, one detail that kind of surprised me, their new iPhone 17 devices still apparently don't have a fully AI-powered Siri yet. That's kind of surprising given everything we're talking about. Maybe suggests they're being more careful, slower integration, perhaps.
It is surprising, yeah. Maybe suggests they're taking a more cautious route. Or perhaps a more deeply integrated approach for their on-device AI, rather than just rushing out something superficial.
So how quickly do you think these quick hits, these smaller things, become just mainstream reality for us?
Well, many are already in beta testing, so mass adoption, it feels pretty imminent, actually. Mid-roll sponsor read placeholder will be provided separately. All right, let's switch gears again. Let's look at another area that feels ripe for a big transformation. Speech recognition. Alibaba just put out something called Qwen 3 ASR Flash. It's a new speech recognition model built on their Qwen 3 Omni Foundation, but with some really clever, unique tricks.
Okay, so what can it actually do that's different, besides just, turning speech into text?
Well, first off, performance-wise, it outperforms rivals in Chinese, English, and 9 other languages, so broad capability. But here's where it gets really interesting. It can accurately transcribe rap music. and songs, even with complex background music playing. That's a huge leap, handling really nuanced, noisy audio like that. And here's another potential game changer. You can feed it keywords or whole documents or even just sort of general text to bias its results without any complex pre-processing. It's kind of like prompt engineering, but specifically for speech recognition.
You mean like giving the automatic speech recognition, the ASR system, specific instructions or examples to guide how it understands things and what it writes out?
Exactly that. It's about giving the AI context, telling it what's important to you without needing to rebuild the whole model. And apparently it works really well under noisy conditions, inside cars, crowd noise, even when people are code switching, missing languages in one conversation, it just automatically detects the language being spoken and intelligently ignores background noise or silence. It makes it seem extremely robust.
Yeah. Okay, this is where the why it matters really clicks for me. Most ASR models, they're pretty good, sure, but they can be quite rigid. They often struggle to adapt to your specific context, your industry jargon, your company names without a lot of engineering work or complex fine-tuning. Qwen 3 ASR sounds like it completely changes that dynamic. Like you want transcripts to always get your brand name right, or pick up specific technical terms. You just feed it the relevant info once, and boom, it's set. I'll admit I still wrestle with prompt drift myself sometimes, trying to keep an AI focused and consistent. So this biasing feature, that sounds like a huge leap in control, real precision.
It really is. It potentially elevates ASR from just a generic transcription tool to something much more like a highly customized intelligent assistant, one that actually adapts to your specific vocabulary and context.
Right now, OpenAI's Whisper, that really dominates the open source ASR world. But this Qwen 3 ASR, it feels like Alibaba's direct enterprise-ready challenger. Its ability to handle singing, different accents, plus that unique biasing feature, that's a major differentiator. This looks like Alibaba making a serious play to own how the world talks to AI. Seriously. And if they actually nail this, voice interaction could be the place where Qwen finally leapfrogs some of the Western models in terms of adoption and capability. It's a direct challenge for market leadership in a really critical area.
So thinking about that, what's maybe the most surprising real-world application you could see for this new kind of speech AI?
Maybe capturing really nuanced legal discussions or diverse global meanings with perfect clarity, finally getting all the specific terms right. That could be huge. So, okay, let's try and pull this all together. What does this all mean for you listening right now?
Today's deep dive really shows us this landscape where AI isn't just a tool anymore. It's increasingly a collaborator, an inventor even, and a global competitor. We've definitely moved beyond simple automation into genuine creation, sophisticated understanding, and it's happening everywhere all at once.
Absolutely. We're seeing this really profound shift. AI isn't just processing information anymore. It's generating new knowledge, new capabilities, and at a speed that was, frankly, previously unimaginable. It's kind of like, stacking Lego blocks of data, but the blocks are also building themselves faster than we can quite grasp sometimes. And as these systems keep evolving, they really challenge our basic definitions of human ingenuity. They accelerate progress across pretty much every field you can think of. So how do you see AI reshaping your world in the next few years? What new possibilities does all this spark for you, personally, professionally?
Yeah, think about that. The speed is just incredible. Really makes you wonder, how are we actually going to collaborate with these intelligent systems tomorrow? What will that look like?
That is definitely a deep dive for another day, perhaps. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We always appreciate your curiosity.